The Donald didn't chicken out.
No taco Trump this time. I actually wore a tie with chooks on it as a nod to the Commander-in-Chief's newfound courage of his convictions.
Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
The Ayatollah dared him, and Donald proved he's the Marty McFly of the foreign politic.
Nobody calls me chicken.
Washington's isolationist policy of America First appears to have been replaced by an interventionist doctrine of Make Iran Great Again, a new strategic direction that has the twin benefits of regime change and a whole new line of merchandise.
What does regime change actually look like?
It's easy to say and not so easy to do. If you don't believe me, consider this. If the Iranian government is toppled, it will be regime change 2.0. 70 years ago, the US helped depose Iran's democratically elected leader, Mohammad Mossadegh. The then Prime Minister was pushed out after the nationalisation of his country's oil industry sparked suspicions he was a closet communist. Washington helped install Mossadegh's arch enemy.
Hi, my name is Reza Pahlavi.
Crown Prince Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who as you just saw is still alive, kicking and willing to be interviewed, was sympathetic to Western interests.
And by Western interests, you mean?
You know.
Oil and gas industry makes $3 billion a day in pure profit.
The 1953 coup was a masterclass in deception. Not a shot was fired. 19 CIA-backed rebels took over the studio of Radio Tehran and broadcast the completely made-up fact that Mohammad Mossadegh's regime had collapsed.
You are fake news.
It was fake news, but then, like now, everyone believed it. Pahlavi became leader and immediately actioned a pretty one-dimensional economic policy for his country.
Drill, baby, drill.
Executives at the likes of British Petroleum didn't have the good grace to use some of that extracted oil as lubricant when they were screwing the Iranian people.
A drop of discomfort may be the price of doing business.
And after 26 years of being bent over without the courtesy of a reach around, the population wasn't too fussed when Ayatollah Khomeini ousted Pahlavi in the 1979 revolution.
Well, regime change is like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're going to get with Plan B, and whether it's going to be better than Plan A, which is why a lot of observers are worried about what happens if Ayatollah Khomeini, he took over from Khomeini in 1989, is iced. History shows America has had just 2 big wins with regime change. But there have been some high-profile failures during the estimated 72 times America has tried to overthrow another country's government. There were multiple attempts at anti-communist regime change in Eastern Europe after the end of the Second World War.
I can safely say it was the most acrobatic display of anti-communist propaganda I've ever seen.
Ho Chi Minh pantsed the Americans when they meddled in Southeast Asia. In the Middle East, Iraq became even more of a violent basket case after Saddam was forced out. Afghanistan, as we know, is a 20-year shit show. And closer to home, the CIA tried and failed to get rid of Cuban dictator Fidel Castro during what became known as the Bay of Pigs debacle.
The assault has begun on the dictatorship of Fidel Castro.
And in the early 1980s, Washington bankrolled Nicaraguan rebels, or Contras as they were known, in the hope they'd topple the country's Marxist government. Guess where the money for that little regime change came from?
Where?
Illegal arms sales to Iran. Republican President Ronald Reagan was for years selling guns to the very regime Republican President Donald Trump is now trying to disarm.
That's really bullshit.
No, that's just American foreign policy. I'm Ben Harvey.